I'm Craig.
I'm George.
I'm Gordon, your favorite.
Yeah, we should make that clear very early on that the official name of this is the Musers The Podcast. So if you're saying...
Sure, there's not too many D's in there?
No, it's fine.
If you're saying the Musers Podcast, you're saying it incorrectly. It's the Musers The Podcast.
Welcome to the Musers The Podcast. The guys now have done 25 episodes, and we thought we'd take this opportunity to put together a sort of audio primer for those longtime P1s who may not have heard all the episodes or started listening yet. Or maybe you're one of these people who has a friend or an acquaintance that's told you a lot about the guys, and you're curious as to what this is all about. So this would be a great place to start. So we'll begin with the obvious from episode 1, Whatever We Want.
Okay, so why the hell are we doing a podcast? Seems like we need to address that right out of the gate. A podcast, different from the radio show. Totally different. This is more intimate, and I'm going to start using my NPR voice because I've always wanted to use my NPR voice. One thing people have been very curious about is we do, for those of you who are just discovering us who think, wow, these guys are just podcasters. No, we also have a radio show too. So I'm sure there can be two different delivery sources for the Musers. The Musers, the radio show, the Musers, the podcast.
I think for me, it's part about the future. We cut back our radio hours, and now I find that instead of scrambling for topics to fill 4.5 hours, I find that I come to the end of the day after a 3-hour show, and I'm like, wow, we didn't even talk about this, and I've got a lot to say about this, so this gives us another outlet. But I've always pictured this podcast as, if the three of us were to do one, our 8:15 segments on the radio show, it's very general interest. It's kind of life stuff. Well, if it's a very sportsy day, we'll do sports at 8:15, but a lot of times we do magazine talk or summer camp talk or something like that at 8:15, and so often we get to the end of that 15-minute segment, and I think, I could have talked for another 30 minutes about this.
Yeah.
And that's what I think this podcast can serve as. It's an elongated conversation about these topics that we really like, that we are limited on the radio side because we only have 12 minutes in that segment, where we can actually take some time to have a long-form conversation.
Yeah, and I think you can do things with podcasts that would not work on radio. I know people that listen to specific podcasts that, whether it's gardening or something else, that
I want to start listening to gardening podcasts.
If you did that every day, on radio, I don't think it'd work very well.
Okay, so in doing things that you do here that you wouldn't do on the radio, would you be willing to hit record on your iPhone and record yourself going number 2 and playing it on this podcast? Because it's very secret, behind the scenes, peeling back the curtain, showing people the prep that you do.
The prep?
For delivering content.
No.
Here's the reason why I'm doing a podcast, because there are certain things that I would like to talk about that I would not feel comfortable broadcasting, but would feel comfortable podcasting, and yet I have no idea why that is.
It's still
as
on
if
the
one of
record.
them, as if one of them is secret,
Right.
and the other one isn't. But it's some weird psychological difference to me.
But still on the record. If you say something outrageous, someone's going to say, did you hear what the Muser said on the podcast?
The Musers, the podcast?
And then someone will put it on radio or social media, and it'll be everywhere.
I know, but let me have my delusion.
Okay.
Let me hold on to my delusion.
For much of the last 30 years, one of the most popular things on the show is Gordon's impersonation of Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. And during the podcast, Gordon not only explained the origins of his impersonation, but also broke some exciting news. From episode 5, Fake Jerry.
Outside of Jerry, I would say in Dallas-Fort Worth, the person that has done more to paint and construct his image is you, Gordon, with your impersonation of Jerry.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt that has in the mind of Cowboys fans who also listen to our radio station in Dallas, that is how they see Jerry, is through your impersonation of him.
Yeah, it's kind of because it's a caricature of him. He's already a caricature, has a life that's like a caricature, and then started doing that voice, and I can't even remember exactly how it started. I'm pretty sure it started on this show. You guys asked me if I could do a Jerry Jones.
Back in year 1 or 2,
Yeah.
mid-90s.
And I started off with that ridiculous voice, which does not sound like him. That talking down like this and everything, doing that, and positivity. And yeah, because he gave us so much material, we could do him often. And then we're doing him so often, and then he just becomes the mainstay character. In a lot of ways, I guess Jerry Jones has given me a career.
It's your signature character.
It is. Do you remember when he first figured out, okay, that's the guy who impersonates me?
I don't know when he first figured it out. I mean, I've had to. It's been reintroduced to him to a few times.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be the PR director, Rich at the time. You know, would mention to Jerry, "This is the guy that does your fake voice," and then Jerry would always light up and shake my hand, and he was very thrilled, I guess, in some way that because he hears about it enough that he's meeting the guy who imitates him. Like I think he feels it some way flattering.
Isn't that interesting?
Which, if you listen to the content, it's the least flattering stuff you could possibly do about another human.
I remember one time when we were talking to Jerry about this, about the fake Jerry, and he was with somebody else, I can't remember, and he said, "Oh, yeah, these are the guys that do the fake Jerry voice on their show." And then he turned to one of his buddies and hit him and goes, "And they really give it to Jerry Jr., too." Like, Jerry thought that was funny.
Yeah, that his son was being skewered. Which is great. That I can't believe that so he's aware of some of the content that's on there.
Yeah.
But once again, the thick skin of Jerry, he just lets it roll off of him.
Because you're talking about him and you're talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah, but George, we're talking about him so personally and so derogatorily.
I know.
Derogatorily.
So as the new show hits Netflix, we were informed by you, Gordon.
Yes, sir.
That all of a sudden you're going to be on the Cartoon Network impersonating Jerry.
So, yeah, Hollywood came a-calling for me. And I've told a little bit of this story before, but I started getting these emails from a woman who claimed she was a Hollywood casting agent. And I'm really bad about returning emails and going through it. I mean, I have emails stacked up from about 15 years of stuff I'm getting around to responding to. So I see it, and I didn't respond, and I saw she sent a follow-up, don't respond, third one, fourth one. I just say, okay, I'll get to it. So time goes on, and eventually my our boss from the radio station in Dallas, he says, hey, this woman called me up. She's a casting director for Warner Brothers in L.A., and they're trying to get a hold of you, and you won't respond to their emails. She asked if I could get a hold of you.
Welcome to our world.
So I felt horrible, of course, and I responded to her and everything, and she says, yeah, there's this new show, and it has Jerry Jones in it, and one of the creators has been asking to want you to read for it, to come in and read for this part of Jerry Jones. And so I said, yeah, that sounds good to me, and she set it up. We had this big Zoom call, and I was pretty intimidated by this because it's like, I've never done anything like that before in my life. I'm going to read for a part on a national show as an
in that
actor,
ridiculous voice.
In that ridiculous voice, and so when it comes time for the Zoom call, there's all those people in the room, and I have to do the Jerry voice, and they were great and nice, and lo and behold, I get the follow-up after that meeting that, you got the deal. Where do we send the contract to? What's your agent's name? And I said, what agent?
What agent?
I need to do agent? I don't have agent. So I get this I have a Hollywood Reporter story here.
Okay.
Very official.
Mm-hmm.
Headline, Adult Swim, which is what this cartoon is going to be on, the Adult Swim block of programming. Adult Swim tackles Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones in latest series. Keeping Up with the Joneses will follow a family trying to fit in with their wealthy Dallas neighbors. Okay, so that's the headline.
Okay.
So wait till you hear how much I mention it here. Like, it's pretty impressive. Adult Swim's newest series will brush up against the world of the NFL, or at least its most famous team owner. The cable network has ordered a series called Keeping Up with the Joneses from creator Hugh Davidson, which is the guy that tracked me down and found me. He used to live in Texas, big Spurs fan. Rachel Ramrez, Larry Dorff, Those are the 3 creators and producers. The 10-episode half-hour show will chronicle the Newberry family of Dallas as they try to keep up with their staggeringly wealthy neighbors, including Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, who lives next door. The animated version of Jones, get ready, will be a character in the series, though voiced by an actor, not Jones himself.
An actor?
So that's pretty big.
That's it?
Yes,
You have been
I
identified
am
as
national,
an
baby.
actor.
Hollywood Reporter can't specifically identify you.
When you're such a non-quantity like I am, you just reference as an actor.
Well, you know what?
But that's an
After-
upgrade for me because I'm not even an actor.
After the show comes out, then they'll know your name. They'll all know
They'll
your
all
name.
know my
Oh,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
The origins of the show date back to Craig and George knowing each other since their college days at North Texas. Here they explain how they met, wasted a lot of time, and even some of the earliest days after they started working at the Ticket. From episode 2, It's Funnier Over Here.
Yeah, once our friendship formed, we always talk about wasting time.
Oh my God.
I'm so ashamed. If I could go back and talk to myself at 18 years old, I would say, keep having a good time, but really focus in just a little bit on the task at hand here to get a degree. That you don't have to be a jackass 24 hours a day, but I was constantly trying to make him laugh, whether that was walking. Then we found each other's schedules, the classes we didn't have together. And the goal was to crack the other guy up by acting like you were in a conversation in the hallway and you carried it into their classroom while class was going on.
Like you're
weren't-
mistakenly going in that
Yes.
classroom.
Yes. While you're finishing off, okay, Bill, see you later. And oh gosh, I'm so sorry. And then you'd walk out of the class
right.
and die laughing. And then I think he brought in, you're going to die about this. What's that? Yeah, I think the answer is Danny White. And then he would walk into the class and go, oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, wrong room.
I'm in the wrong class. And only one guy in the classroom's laughing, and it's him as I leave. And then 2 hours later, I'm in my science class or whatever. And midway through, the door opens, and I hear, yeah, well, tell him it was Moses Malone. And, oh, I'm sorry, wrong class. And it's him barging into my class, and I'm the only one in there laughing. That's what we would do. That's what occupied our day.
And isn't that pretty low end comedy?
Sure, but it's bonding comedy.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
you're learning your comedic chops.
Yes.
This is also how we would get in the way of each other learning at college.
Sure.
This is terrible.
So let's say I had a really big test on a Wednesday. So Tuesday, I would go to the library to study because you couldn't study in the dorm. So I'd go to the main library in North Texas, and I'd have to inform him that I was going to the library. And he said, okay, if I find you, you have to stop studying and we're going to go to Mr. Gaddy's and eat buffet pizza. And I'm like, okay, that sounds fair.
It's like $3.99. Why
So
could you pass that up on a Wednesday night?
So I would find some little alcove in the 6th floor of the library, and I'm thinking I'm hidden pretty well. I'm studying, and then all of a sudden I would hear, well, what do we have here? And I'd turn around and it's him, and I'd just close my book and get up, and we'd go to Mr. Gaddy's. So then, a couple weeks later, it's his turn for a big test, and I have to go find
And I
him.
begged him, I said, please, you and Skip, don't try to find me. I am failing this class. It's not even close. I've got to pass this test or I'm going to have to, I think it's too late to drop it. So just leave me alone just for one night. Economics.
Skip was our other roommate with, eventually it was George and Skip and Grizzy in one room.
Not Skip Bayless.
No, and I was across the hall with Slaw in the other room.
What's his real? He's got a real name.
John
doesn't he?
Colson, but we
Okay.
called
But he
him
went by
Slaw for
Slaw.
coleslaw. So we said, okay, George, go study. Well, of course, we're going to come find him. We found him in the darkest part of the library where he couldn't even read. There was no light to
I
read
thought they would
by.
give up on me.
just
They
had
go, well, he's not here. I
He
guess.
just had a Bic lighter that he was holding down to the
He
textbook.
could not have possibly been studying because he couldn't read in that pitch dark corner he was in. But we found him, and we all went to Mr. Gaddy's and had pizza.
And I'll never forget Craig. Well, you won't be needing this as he shuts my economics book. And I got a test. Okay, you found me. So, yeah, I guess we have to go eat pizza.
And our GPAs reflected that.
When you guys started to work together, and of course we weren't mornings yet. The three of us weren't together. and you start working on the ticket. Do you remember that first day when you are sitting across from each other doing a talk show in a way that you'd never done before? This isn't student radio.
No.
This is major market.
It may have sounded like it that first couple of years.
Your name's on the show, and now you have a show to fill, 3 hours.
Yeah. And I think that was going back to our relationship. I felt good about it because I was with Craig.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, hey, I'm just hanging out with Craig. I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but you know, we both followed all the local teams. We knew something about it. We had something to say about it, and then we also had some goofy things to say too. And off it went.
Yeah, and George had the idea very early to work in drops. I think that was your original idea in the first show, to work in a drop, because George had that idea. And so we had these other elemental ideas that we wanted to work in the show. And George looked at me and goes, man, this is going to work. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I had that feeling. And that was really fun. I don't know what we just did or what we accomplished. Kind of like we're wasting time again in college, but that felt really good.
Over the course of 3 of the episodes, each of the guys took a turn delving into their passions. Here, Craig tells a remarkable story of when he was 14 and, with his parents' permission, rode his bike on a 2-day cross-state journey. From episode 9, Feels Like Flying.
And another moment where the bike gave me confidence, and it's unthinkable today, but I am 14 years old. This is, I think it was 1980, somewhere in there. And we have kinfolk in Shamrock, Texas. My dad's brother, my Uncle John, and his family were in Shamrock, right across the border from Oklahoma. And I've been riding my bike a lot. I'd done this 100-mile ride. And my cousin Pam was getting married. And this happened in April. And my dad, like back in February or March of that year, goes, you ought to ride your bike to cousin Pam's wedding. Because he knew I liked riding distances. Now I'm 14, and he's encouraging me, and my mom was half on board with this. He said, you can take 2 days off school. She's getting married on Saturday. Go ride Thursday. We'll get you a hotel room halfway, and then ride the rest of it Friday, because it was 180 miles.
Whoa.
And I thought, hell yeah, I'd love to do that. That is the ultimate in freedom. I'm 14.
Miniature Tour de France here.
Yeah, it's a miniature tour.
And you're taking what kind of roads?
So they were side highways that today would probably be really busy, but back then, you know, I had to zigzag to get my way out of the metro area. And I remember riding by Yukon, I think it was the high school Yukon, and all the kids were going to school, and I was off that day.
Yeah.
And then it took me, 30 minutes or an hour to get out of Oklahoma City. And then it's side highways straight across to Shamrock.
Do you ride in the lane or on the shoulder, or what are you doing at that point?
If there was a shoulder, I was on the shoulder. But again, I had a helmet. I had my decent bike. I had a little bag on the front with a change of clothes and toothbrush or something in there. And I had a water bottle, and that was about it. And my parents just said goodbye. Can you imagine parents doing that today?
No.
14.
So I get out there, and it's April, so it's getting kind of warm. I remember going through Bangor, Oklahoma, and going in and having lunch there. And again, the only thing I ate back then was French fries.
Yeah, French fries and a Coke.
So I think that was my lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the guy, I sat at a bar at a diner, and the guy asked me, what are you doing? Where are you from? I said, Oklahoma City.
You look pretty in that outfit.
And he goes, well, I'm glad you came through Bangor, Oklahoma. This is the home of Johnny Bench. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. The legendary Reds catcher. So I get back on my bike. I finish that day about 10 miles shy of my destination, which was some little town. I can't remember the name of it, halfway between Oklahoma City and Shamrock. And I couldn't go any further. I was out of water. I was exhausted. I had done 90 of the 100 miles, and I had to hitchhike. So I'm a 14-year-old
now
boy.
we got more danger going here. We got hitchhiking.
Yes. And so
wow, the French fries didn't carry you the whole way, huh?
Right.
That great sports nutrition.
I stick my thumb out, and after a while, this pickup truck pulls over. It's some 70s-looking guy with long hair and a beard.
And I said, I'm going to whatever the town was. He goes, okay, it's just 10 miles away. Throw your bike in the back. So I put my bike in the back. I get in the cab with him, and he's nice. We're having a decent conversation. But when we get into that little town, there's this woman walking on the sidewalk. As I remember, she had maybe tight jeans on or something. And he looks at her, and then he hits me on the shoulder and goes, take a look at that. That'll make a man drive straight up a telephone pole, won't it?
And it was such an odd comment. You remember it to this day.
Yes.
Yep.
And I didn't know how to react. I'm 14, and I just kind of went, yeah.
You know it.
Sure will.
You don't mind if I open my pants, do you, sir?
I like them cycling shorts you got on.
She's almost as pretty as you.
So, yeah, he had his way with me. And
Okay,
God,
well, yeah.
come on.
No. No, he was,
Jeez.
other than that comment, he was very nice and normal. And I guess that comment's not abnormal for a grown man.
Do you still keep in contact with him?
We do. I get a Christmas card from him every year.
Is that guy still alive? How old was he then? Like in his 20s?
Yeah, I would say he's maybe 30.
So he's still alive, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Gosh, I wonder if he remembers that. Yeah, I remember I picked up this 14-year-old who was hitchhiking with a bike, and I remember I just said something really stupid to him. And it was so dumb that I remember it to this day.
I wonder if he remembers. Probably
There's
not.
no way he remembers it, but I remember I said
kid.
I'd drive up a telephone pole. It didn't make sense. I don't know.
The kid seemed to have a lot of promise as a talk show host.
He did, and he was wearing a
Outside of
gold
that.
freshman medal around his neck.
Still had the medal on.
He had a picture of Barry Switzer in his wallet.
And Rick Honeycutt.
Talking about starting a podcast. It's just weird incident.
He dropped me at the hotel. My dad had called and made a reservation for me and paid for it over the phone. You could do that,
Did
even
that take
back
some
then.
convincing to the manager of the
No, 'cause
motel or hotel?
No, because the dad was on the phone.
Yeah.
So it's authorized.
Okay. All right.
There's no check on whether this is actually his dad. It's just,
Right.
okay, well.
Right. So I remember sleeping pretty hard that night. I ate breakfast at the hotel restaurant, and I got up and I did the next 80 miles the next day. It was a real struggle. It was hot again, but I made it to Shamrock. And then, of course, we had the family weekend, and my cousin got married. And then on that Sunday, we put the bike in the trunk and drove back to Oklahoma City.
So I'm assuming your parents brought you some wedding clothes.
Yeah.
You weren't there in your
Right.
cycling get-up,
Right.
smelling like a Yeti's ass.
I think my family thought I was nuts for doing that, all my uncles and aunts and cousins. But I always look back at that and my parents believing in me that I could do something like that. That was one of those benchmark moments again in my life. And it was because of the bicycle that gave me such confidence. It was the biggest confidence builder in anything my parents ever did for me, to think that much of me that, yeah, he's 14, but he can handle this. And I handled it. And it's like that. I felt like I grew up 10 years in those 2 days.
When we come back, 4 of the best stories told so far on the podcast, including what many have told us is the series' best moment yet. Welcome back. Now, early in the series, each host took a turn interviewing the other two about their relationship with each other. When Junior dug into the infamous 30-year back and forth between George and Gordo, out came this magical revelation of a story never before told. From episode 4, The Question.
But I have to start this episode with the question that over the years, without a doubt, has been asked to me the most by people who listen to our radio show. And that is, does George really hate Gordon that much?
So it's not even a question of does George really hate Gordon? It's just does he hate him that much?
Yes.
Yeah.
My answer to that has always been sometimes. Sometimes I really am mad at him. A lot of it is radio theater, our back and forth, but sometimes I really do disagree with whatever's coming out of his mouth hole. But yeah, I don't hate him, of course. We love each other, but we've had our challenges through the years. I think that's safe.
This is all news to me. I didn't know any of this. Yeah. So is the question also posed to me? Does George really hate me that much?
Sure, you can jump in on this.
Yeah.
I never get it the other way. I never get, does Gordon hate George that much?
Yeah.
By the end of this episode, you will see that I don't hate Gordon, but we will. I think this is. I felt like I was going to be on a couch for this one because early on it was not easy. I will just say that when we started, it really wasn't. I took things. A lot of it was on me, taking it way too personally. But yeah, I had to. But I'll explain today. There were several times where you showed me what kind of person you were, and that the on-air stuff did not stick after that point. But we had to get to that point.
Yes, we did. And our relationship has certainly changed over the years.
Yes.
Early on, yes, you mentioned your whatever culpability that you feel on that, and I can't speak to that. I can speak to my culpability, which is, I was not sensitive enough to how the other person was feeling about the radio bits or the bit of, ridiculous sitcom-y type stuff that I'm doing on there, poking the bear, as it were. And I did not have enough consideration for human feelings. I think that's what y'all call them on Earth. Yeah,
something like that. Maybe we should start when I realized you really are a good person. Should we do that, and then we'll work backwards?
This is a few weeks ago. Go ahead, tell the story. It's a great story.
It was
took 30 years,
a few days back. No, I mean, early, I'm an easy target. I understand that for a number of reasons, and like I said, I would take it really personally, and I really did think this in the early days of the ticket. Gosh, I guess Gordon just really doesn't like me, or he doesn't like the type of person I am, or something. And that's fine. We can still work together, and I'll just kind of keep him at arm's length, and that's just who he is. And he likes, cutting people, and that's just the way it goes. But one of our early pranks in the ticket, we used to prank call each other. Some shows would call other shows at our little radio station in Dallas. And one particular host thought it'd be funny to have one of his friends prank call me. And it was ridiculous. It was a terrible voice, and it didn't fool me. And the first time he called me, I said, "Hey, I know you're a friend of one of our talk show hosts at the ticket. I know you're a friend of his. Stop doing whatever this is." Then the next night, it was the phone call. And he said all these really strange things just to get my reaction. But then he started getting my family involved. Like, "Hey, put your son on the phone. Let me talk to him." Mm-hmm. And then that, got my defense mechanism up, and I just, hung up on him. And I went to our friend and I said, "Is this you? Because if it's not, I'm going to call the police and have them, trace where this call's coming from. This is starting to creep me out a little bit." No, it's not me. We've never talked about this on our radio station. And I guess it's okay to talk about it here.
Hell yeah. We can do whatever we want.
Do what we want.
We own this baby.
And so they broke it to me as we finished our show. And at that time, he was working on a show that was right after ours. And he said, "Hey, you need to stick around because that was me. It was a friend of mine, and we're going to play." And I just felt so betrayed and furious. And you saw me, Gordon, and how upset I was. And I found out that you went back and erased all of them. And I found that out from our program. We have never talked about this.
We have not, no.
And our program director told me, I said, "I don't ever want any of that played on the air. That's messing with my family. That's crossing the line. And if that's funny, my reaction to being upset that someone may be a threat to my, at the time, 7-year-old son, then I don't want to work here anymore." I mean, I was ready to leave. And he said, "It's not going to happen. You should know this, that Gordon went in the production room and erased all of it." So that was the moment that I knew, okay, Gordon's on my side. Don't take it personally. We're joking around when we're on the air. And I saw you in a totally different light after that.
Man, I never knew that you found out about that. Yeah.
We've never talked about it. I'm terrible about talking about things. I just kind of let things go. And I think guys in general are guilty of that. And we've never talked about that.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, about 30 years.
Yeah,
it was like first couple years of the station.
Yeah, I think we were doing mornings, so it was somewhere around 1996 or 97.
Wow.
Yeah, we were already on-air partners at that time. Yeah, I mean, look, prank calls can be great, funny. We've all done them, but you don't. The way that they were doing that prank call, it made no sense to me. First of all, it was like, so this character is just designed to creep Georgie out by calling him in the middle of the night and talking about his family.
Yeah,
that's not cool, and it's not okay. And George is really affected by this, as he rightly should be. And that audio deserves no place in this world.
Yeah,
I don't even want it out there for, even if they just said, okay, fine, we won't play it on the air. I don't want that stuff being out there that you have to worry about when that shoe is going to drop, when that's going to get out.
I was so upset that day I just left. And I came back and I apologized to you guys. And this is before I knew that you had erased everything. You said, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about that audio. And you're a good man. And I just went, wow, that's like one of the nicest things anyone's ever said to me after something like that. So, yeah. After that moment, I knew, Gordon is a good dude. He really is.
Well, you are a good man, Giorgio.
No,
I don't know. You are a good man. And I think that those 2 words, or 3 words, if you want to include the article, I think those are the most important words that a guy can ever hear. For whatever reason, to me, when someone says you're a good man, that hits me in the heart more than any other phrase ever.
Yeah.
That's much better than someone telling you that you're a great man.
Yes.
Yeah.
When George took his turn asking questions, we got this great story from Junior and Gordo about a night out on the town. From episode 3, Unlimited Free Beer.
I wanted to tell the story of the other road trip we took because this is as crazy as the Colorado road trip. Cowboys training camp. We're all down there. Everybody left for a weekend, but the ticket was staying down there for 2 or 3 weeks. Gordo and I didn't have any reason to come back to Dallas because we didn't have families, all you guys who were
back
married.
to the compound.
Or families that wanted us.
Yeah. So we thought, well, and we've been in Austin for a while. Let's do something fun. Do you want a road trip down to the beach to go to Port Aransas? So same thing. He packs a grocery sack with a couple clothing. We didn't have even swimsuits. We just had shorts and T-shirts.
So beaten.
We drive down there. We find some place to stay. I remember it being a pretty beaten down condo.
Yes,
it wasn't very nice.
Horrible place.
And
we weren't making much money at the time.
No.
And Gordo especially wasn't making much money.
You don't
at
have
the
to
time.
point that out.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I struggled.
what was your salary the first year of the ticket? $8,000?
The first year of the ticket, I looked up fairly recently, and it was like I made $7,000.
We weren't making much more than that.
Plus
by the
free
way.
T-shirts and some free CDs.
Yeah,
you got those,
including one
and
very
free beer.
precious CD.
So we had a really beaten down weekend, 2 nights, I think, in Port Aransas, maybe even 1 night. I remember being down at Fisherman's Wharf looking at a dead fish floating in the water.
Fish floating there, and I just remember thinking my life just can't get any lower than this. Me and that fish down there are about the same.
About the same.
And then one of our nights down there, we went out drinking.
Oh, no.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Was that like a disco or dance
Yeah.
club or something?
Some kind of a dance club.
A Port Aransas dance club.
Wow.
And there were a couple girls there, and we were trying to dance with them and drink beers with them and all of that. And somehow we end up taking this one girl, giving her a ride back to her place.
Was Gordo doing his funny dances?
Oh yeah. I don't know how to real dance.
Joke dance.
So I can only joke dance.
But he left.
Junior will real dance. Junior will actually dance.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it though, so I can't even do that. But I remember at one
no
point,
disagreement with me on that.
I'm talking up this girl, and he comes to me and says, "Can I have the keys to your car?" I said, "Yeah." And he took the keys, went out, and just reclined the seat and said he had the Honda Spins.
I did. I looked up at that sunroof and just watched it spin for about an hour. It was horrible.
Man, you and that fish were in about the same spot.
I know. And we're down there, and we're in a place that's just so gross, and we just smell like ocean. We just smell like harbor. It's just it's so gross. And so I'm sitting out in that in the car, and you showed up with that girl.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he comes back to the car and he's got a girl. And I'm like, what's going on here? And that's when he's like, oh, we got to give her a ride home. And we used to do this gag that you guys probably used to do this too, of when you have someone who doesn't know you, you each try to introduce biographical facts about the other one that are untrue that the other guy then has to respond to. So somehow we get into this and once again, different time and place.
Very different time.
But that I was extremely gay. He starts in with
extremely.
This is my gay friend Gordon, and I'm in the back seat, and she's in the passenger seat, he's driving. And this is my gay friend Gordon and everything. And she was like really fascinated by this, that I was this gay guy.
Yeah, you're safe.
And she's like, wow. So, and how, and once again, just
different divider.
We're in such a safe podcast space here. And she's like, when did you know that you were gay? I think I knew it at birth. And I'm having to play along with this because he's introduced this,
so
this fact about me.
Along.
So yeah. And she goes, so you've never been attracted to a girl at all? And I said, no, never been attracted to a girl until now.
Oh, gosh.
so horrible. Yeah.
But we ended up just taking her home and dropping her off. And so that next day was Sunday and we had to leave. We had to drive back. And I said, why don't we go back through San Antonio and stop and see our buddy Don, our old college buddy from North Texas. And we're sitting in his little sports department with him, and he's showing us some video of a funny play or something like that. And Gordon and I are sitting there, and he stops the recording, and he looks at us, and he goes, God, you guys stink.
You didn't shower the whole time?
I know.
We hadn't had a shower the whole weekend.
We had been partying nonstop.
The guys spent an episode talking about the hardest things they've ever done in their lives, and from that, this story of Craig getting up the courage to ask out the hottest girl in college. From episode 24, How to Eat a Mountain.
When we thought about doing this topic, the hardest things we've ever done, it was the time that I asked out a girl, and this is in college, and I asked out a girl that I didn't think I had any shot at, and it turned out I didn't. But I've never been more in my own way, more consumed with getting something done than when I decided to ask this girl out. And we had a class together, and she was probably the most beautiful girl in our school. Her name was Grace. You know her, George.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember Grace?
Mm-hmm.
Every guy loved Grace. She was just gorgeous, and she was cool, and we sat next to each other in this class. And I decided early that semester I was going to ask her out.
Okay.
I am going to ask her out.
Goals.
And so I set up a way to do it. Okay, I'll walk out with her and then we'll be over here. And every plan I had.
It was visualizing. Good,
yes, I was visualizing.
Here we go.
Every plan I had went up in smoke. Somebody, interrupted us, or she took a left when I took a right, or whatever it was. But I was so obsessed with asking her out, and I had put it on my bucket list. I am going to do this. And so one day I went to that class and I said, I don't care who gets in my way. I don't care what she does. I am not going home without asking her out today. This had been like a 2-month deal. So I didn't pay attention to anything in class. I'm scared to death to ask her to go on a date. But I get my courage up and the class ends and I walk out with her and I'm making small talk with her. And our friend, Mr. Cheese.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Cheese.
Meyer was walking with us. So it was the three of us. And
was he part of the plan?
No.
He played for the Hoopers, but
the plan was she and I walking out together and not a third. But I had made up my mind
that was going to be the day.
That was the day, and I didn't care if there were 50 people listening.
Why are you doing? See, you should have had contingency plans for change in battlefield conditions.
I had done that for 2 months, and it never worked out for me.
Go time.
Right.
So I am shaking. I am so scared to death, and I'm wishing Mr. Cheese would peel off. And he never did. He's just walking with us.
I think he had shake voice that day.
Oh,
He's
my
talking
God.
to her.
Big time shake voice.
And now I see
how are you doing today?
We're at the end of the sidewalk where I know she always goes left. And so we're about to split up.
Her.
And so I just did it. And I said,
I don't care if Mr. Cheese hears this. And so I
can't listen to this.
we're making small talk, and I just finally interrupted probably somebody or something she was saying. I said, "Hey, I've been wondering, would you like to go out and have dinner with me sometime?" And as soon as I said that,
coupon for Gaddy's.
and as soon as I said that, Mr. Cheese exited stage right. He realized he was
cringing.
Oh,
he was
man.
cringing. He was in an awkward moment, and he just took off to the right. And so there I'm left with her, and she stopped and she looked at me and she said, "You do know I have a boyfriend." And I said, "Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Do you still want to go out?"
Gosh.
And I don't think I knew she had a boyfriend, or I was fuzzy on that. And she said,
Bro code, man.
Yeah.
she said, "Okay, I'll have lunch with you." And I said, "Okay, I'll call you." And she gave me her number, and I went home, and the day later I called her. And then like a few days later, I took her out to lunch to Guadalajara's in Denton.
Quality place.
Terrible place to take a date.
Why is she going out with another guy if she's
Well,
why is she
saw it
going
as-
out with you when she's got a boyfriend?
maybe she fell under the spell of one Craig Miller, and she
okay.
just could not resist. But I actually took her out, picked her up, dropped her off. Obviously, we didn't kiss or anything like that. But that was probably out.
Did you rent a car to pick her up in, or did you go in
No,
your...
I picked her up in my beaten down Monte Carlo.
He had a decent car.
Hey,
in
Monte
college. It was
Carlo's
better than
all
mine.
right.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was pretty
okay.
cool.
It was okay.
It was all right.
I was keeping 2 tires afloat with Fix-A-Flat, so it was
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's
it was
kinda
not
beat.
doing all that well. But I knew we would never go out again when I took her back to the apartment. And but still, I asked out the prettiest girl at school, and
There
she
you
said
go.
yes.
Yeah.
Why did it not go well at the lunch? Like, what happened at
It
the
went
lunch?
fine. It went fine. But I knew we would never be a thing because she had a boyfriend.
Okay. You
But-
couldn't just be her lunch boyfriend, and he's the dinner boyfriend?
No, I just assumed that we were done at that point, and I never asked her out again. And I think she kind of made it clear that she had a boyfriend and wasn't going to date anybody. And
But that gave you the bravery to ask out somebody else.
yeah,
Speaking of the hardest things you've ever done, imagine being Gordon's dad, especially if you're a Baptist minister. From episode 7, Ode to Our Parents.
I remember finding in my dad's sock drawer this coin. And on one side of the coin, there was a woman, a topless woman, an engraving, like a coin impression of a topless woman. And on the bottom, it was the naked rear end of a woman. And I thought this was the most magical thing I'd ever seen in my life. Now, why a Baptist minister had this, I had no idea. But I thought this was incredible. This is how hard up we were for seeing a naked woman when I was growing up, is that even just a stamped coin would be something you needed to show your friends. So I took it to school to show my friends. Hey, look at this. Look at it. This is what women's breasts look like. Look at that. If you can see on this
That's probably when
monochrome
he started
woman
drawing
that's stamped
them,
into
yeah.
copper, look at this. And look, she's got a bottom. It's so great. She's got a bottom.
would that do it for today's internet porn generation?
So my teacher at the time, she sees us back there causing a commotion in class. What's going on back there? What do you have?
No.
And I had to take this coin up to her. And I had it. And I have to explain to her, I'm sorry, I found this in my dad. And this is my dad. He's a Baptist preacher. So what is he doing with this thing?
Right.
And I'm telling the teacher, I found it in my dad's sock drawer. It's
Throwing
my
him under
dad's.
the bus.
Yeah, throwing him under the bus. And so she called my parents. I got in trouble, because I'm disrupting class, showing them nudity, although this is like practically Roman fresco at Pompeii type nudity. And so my parents, they get me and I'm in trouble and everything. And I got in trouble for that, and I got a talking to. The story behind the coin, my dad, I remember him laughing at it. My mom was mortified. She always felt the family humiliations much more than my father ever did. Any sort of perceived loss of face or stature would affect her a lot more than dad. But I remember my dad laughing, and he told the story of how he came to get that coin. He said that they received it in the offering plate. It was some dude who had it as his, settle a bet coin, flip coin. That's a funny thing that they would give away back in the day. The heads or tails is what it was. The heads or tails coin. And some dude had emptied his change into the offering plate, and they had the woman who did the counting and gathering of the money and sorting of the money at the church had called my dad and said, "Hey, we got this in the offering plate." And my dad thought it was so funny. He kept the thing and said, "Okay, that's okay. I'll take it." And he put a quarter in there and took that coin and took it, and he just never got rid of it. He just had it and threw it in. That was it.
How funny.
But I found it, took it to school, and got in trouble for it.
When we come back, Junior cheating death, Jub's busted bed, and yes, Gordon's bathtub. We're back with something from the episode that probably got the most listener response, and that's the guys discussing procrastination. From episode 17, Writing It Out.
So it is a human thing, because aren't we wired to take the path of least resistance?
Yes.
And whenever we encounter something in our daily lives, which is a million things a day, we just most often choose to take the path of least resistance, which is not fixing that thing that we're writing out.
All right, I got one for you. So for the past 2 years, I've had a couple leaking faucets. And this is not just leaking as in drip, drip. It's like it's a steady stream of water, and I can't cut it off. Now,
you're part of the water problem in Texas.
I am. I hired a company to come out one time a couple years ago when I was going to solve this thing. And they said, "Do you want us to tear out the wall and put in a whole new shower tree?" One of these faucets is a shower head.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Nah, don't do that." I said, "Okay, well, we can do a stem replacement in there. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. It's kind of expensive. It's like $500.
Oh, my.
But I was tackling the problem then because I'd written it out like a year before then. So they fixed it. And about, I'd say 2 weeks later, it started again.
Oh,
so I got to tear out the wall and just replace all the works. It's been 2 years. Now, it's not just the sound of it. And it's not just when you open that bathroom door, it's like a orchid hothouse in there. It's so humid, and you could be growing pot in there. It's ridiculous, but it's not just that. It's that I have to turn off the water, hot water, because it's the hot water side, or it'll have the water heater running constantly. So before every shower and before every time I need hot water, I've got to go to the closet that has the water heater, turn on the hot water, use it, and then go back and then turn it off after I've taken the shower or bath or washed my hands or whatever. So
just have the wall knocked out. You could probably do it yourself.
It's been 2 years that I have to turn on and off the water anytime I want to use it. The hot water at the water heater.
Boy, and doesn't it make it? Maybe it makes it better, and you eventually do it, or does it make it worse when you have someone else in your house saying, "When are we going to get that fixed? I'm on it next week.
Hold on, I'll get it
I got
done.
some time next week. We're going to fix it.
Yeah,
I promise." Okay, this is really embarrassing because you guys have made fun of our hospital bed, as you call it. It's a great bed.
George sleeps in a hospital bed.
It's not a hospital bed.
But with your prostate issues, I think
I don't
that's
have
totally
prostate
understandable.
issues. The bed adjusts.
You have an IV tree next to it?
No, I don't have an IV tree, but you can
You have a
raise
nurse
your
button?
head. You can raise your feet. And this particular bed has air pressure where you can put it on your own number. And it's divided in half, so I can have my sleep comfort and she can have her sleep comfort.
Are you doing a lot of sidestepping the name brand here?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to be good about this. Could be a sponsor someday. And I love the bed. It's the greatest bed we've ever had. But I'd say for about 6 months now, her side of the bed loses air pressure.
Throughout the night.
Yeah.
Just
to the
slow.
point where if I have to get up and go wee pee pee, or when I go to work in the morning, I get on the app because we've lost the remote control to that out. I get on the app on my phone and fill it back up to her number, and then I leave for work, or I'll whisper to her, "Hey, why don't you sleep on my side and just not worry about it." And we've tried to fix it twice. They don't have people that come out to your house and fix it. You have to
You have to take it in?
No, you have to do phone support, tech support.
Oh.
And I'm I'm just saying, I'm not saying, but I'm saying
Okay.
I can't understand them.
Them.
Yes, the technician.
Who is them?
The technician. We have a language barrier.
All of them?
All of them. We've tried it like 2 or 3 different times, and every time I find that part they're talking about, and then I can't understand what they want me to do. Don't we have a technician that can just come out here? I don't know how to fix things.
But I don't understand. Why is there a language barrier? I bet you their name is like Cody or Justin or
that's
Stephanie.
what they say their name is. Yes.
It's clearly not.
It's
What do you
Justin. I have a hard time understanding him to the point where I've just hung up and said, okay, look, I'll get to it. Okay.
Well, just go out and get like a bicycle tube repair kit and patch the bed.
I'll come over. I can do that
Yeah,
stuff.
he can patch an inner tube.
All right. Do most people call this procrastination?
Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly everybody, at least once in their life, has thought they'd almost met their maker, and so have the guys. They spent an episode describing moments they thought they had met their end, and Junior tells this harrowing story from episode 16, Cheating Death.
So I believe this was 1999.
Yes.
And at our radio station, we had something called a ticket flyaway, a Cowboys flyaway, where each week we would pick several listeners to go with us on a flight to a Cowboys road game if there was a road game that week. So we did 8 of these a year. And the show hosts would take turns hosting the flight. Well, my turn came up that fall. I was going to host the flight to Indianapolis to see the Cowboys and Colts.
This is where you serve the drinks and peanuts and things like that.
Right.
on the flight.
So it's me, and I took my girlfriend at the time. Her name was Rhonda. This was also, keep in mind, just a couple of months, I believe, after Payne Stewart died in the plane crash, where he was cruising at altitude at 35,000 feet in a private jet, and they lost cabin pressure, and everybody in the cabin was knocked out, and the jet just eventually crashed in South Dakota or somewhere.
Yeah, they'd like track that plane for 4 hours.
Yeah.
As it was a ghost plane in the sky, flown by no one.
Okay.
So
Too
we're
many
on
details.
we're on a private jet for this flight, and it's a 6-seater, and me and Rhonda have our backs to the cockpit, and we're facing the 4 listeners in the 4 seats facing us. 2 pilots, pilot and co-pilot behind us. So we're flying along, we're all having a good time. And then we start our descent. We're getting close to Indianapolis. And then not long after we start our descent, something weird starts to happen, and I can hear a commotion in the cockpit. And I turn around and I see a red light flashing. We heard a big pop in the cabin.
Gosh.
And
Hey, guys.
didn't really know what it was.
Hey, Big Pop.
You got a chair big enough for me?
Hang on a second. Craig's telling the story.
Oh.
Like a loud pop, and I turn around and I hear this commotion, and I see a red light on the dash, and I said, "Is everything okay?" And I could only see the co-pilot. I couldn't see the pilot from my seat. And he said, "Yeah, everything's fine." So I turned back around. Seconds later, the oxygen masks deploy from above. Now I'm thinking something's not fine. I turned around, I said, "Are you sure everything's okay?" And he goes, "Everybody put your masks on." So everybody starts putting
Quit
their
with all
masks
the questions.
on. I struggle to get my mask on.
Uh-oh.
And Rhonda, who had worked for American Airlines, comes over to me, pulls it down, puts it on properly. I'm like a 3-year-old. I can't get my mask on.
I'm backward.
Spilled your crayon box all over the place trying to get your mask on.
And then as we all get our masks on, the plane goes into a nosedive. I mean, straight down nosedive.
Gosh.
And we were probably, I think I was told we were at around 25,000 feet, and we did a dive to 10,000 feet. So that's a 15,000 foot dive.
Wow.
And that took a couple of minutes, as I recall. And this is where what happened, or you were talking about, Gordo, that peace washed over me. And all I could think of, I wasn't scared. We were all convinced that we were crashing. And it didn't bother me. I just remember I kept thinking, wow, all these years I've watched news stories about plane crashes and movies about plane crashes, and I can't believe I'm going to die in a plane crash. This is really crazy.
Almost as a little bit of a curiosity.
Yeah.
It's your thought, that's odd.
Was anyone else in the plane freaking out, like yelling or crying or anything?
No, in fact,
confessing to weird stuff.
No.
I didn't mean to do it.
I'm wearing panties right now. Oh, God.
So fast forward a few days, we're back in Dallas at work at the radio station, and our show is over one morning, and I walk out of the studio and I go through the main entrance, the lobby of our building, and there are two men there in suits, and they say they need to talk to me. So we go into a small room, and they're from the FAA, and they wanted to interview me about the incident.
Did they cuff you, or did they take them off for the interview?
They didn't cuff me.
Oh.
They did a cavity search, but they didn't cuff me. Then they start asking me questions, this and that, and yeah, I heard a loud pop, and then we went into a nosedive. I said, so what exactly happened? And they said, well, you all had been cruising at 35,000. You had started your descent, so around 28,000 or 27,000. Your cabin seal around the door, broke, and your cabin lost pressure and was losing pressure very, very quickly. And he said, that's why the pilot did the right thing. He dove down to where you could breathe okay.
Wow.
And I said, but we would have been fine anyway because we had oxygen masks. And they both got real uncomfortable and looked at each other. And I said, right? And they said, have you ever heard of a placebo, Mr. Miller? And I said, yes. And they said, that's basically what an oxygen mask is over 30,000 feet.
You have no chance.
You have no chance.
Really? I don't know about that.
That's what they said.
I think he was just trying to scare you.
Well, he did. And so basically he told me, if you had not already been starting your descent, you all would have been dead, just like Payne Stewart.
Gosh.
That would have been me.
That would have been you.
Frozen
You would have been
Jr.
that good at golf right before death.
Gordon is a famously quirky fellow, and here he admits his obsessions with collecting unusual things, and in particular, yes, his fascination of a moment in American history. From episode 10, The Assassin's Bathtub.
How many typewriters do you own?
Let's not podcast anymore right now, but
Just guesstimate.
it's probably around 200.
Wow, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's about what I thought it was.
Where are they all?
They're all at my parents' house. I still have my parents' house. They've passed on now, but and my mom I keep imagining that the only way that I can get her to live again is to make her rise from the grave with how much I've junked up her house. She'd be so pissed.
Just stacks of
200 typewriters. What
Yeah.
do you ever go over there and bang away on them?
Every once in a while, I'll go back through them, and the thing about the things that I'm interested in is I'll get to a point where I think I'm not interested in it anymore, and it always comes back again. If I wait a few years and don't get rid of those objects, I will always get reinterested in them and have to reacquire them if I've gotten rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I've now learned to be a little bit more cautious with thinking a phase is over with me, because the same things that I'm interested in, I get reinterested in again and again and again. Typewriters, pens, mechanical pencils. You're starting to see a theme here. I like things that are associated in the accoutrement of writing. You know, books. I have so many books. I have
Guitars.
Yes, I have way too many guitars.
How many guitars are we standing at right now?
Once again, I think the podcast needs to stop right now and move forward. I don't know. It's probably 100.
Oh,
100?
gosh.
Between acoustics, basses, electrics.
Okay.
Where are they stored?
Once again, my mother's going to come back from the grave on this one.
Guitars everywhere.
There is one particular thing you mentioned earlier in the podcast.
Yep.
Bathtub?
That's it's very sensitive. It's very sensitive. I have been accused by members of the public of being, quote unquote, obsessed with Lee Harvey Oswald.
It's like anything else. It was a fascinating story, and you dug into it, and now you know every address where he lived here in the
All right.
Dallas-Fort Worth area. And
Now, like Junior said, I'm not really obsessed with history. And that's true. I like, once again, combining passions and interest, I got interested. Well, where were the places he lived? Not just where did this event happen, but where was he? Where were the humble little hovels that his mind was churning in?
Mm-hmm.
That led to this world changing. I don't know what you're talking about. 602 Elspeth, 214 West Neely. Actually, it's maybe North Neely. I can't remember. 1026 North Beckley. That's the one. That was the rooming house. So going to all those and then walking through those, and was so interesting about walking through those is sometimes you're walking through a place that's still an apartment building people still live in, and you're seeing this mixture of life is going on now without a thought of what happened back then. These people are in lower income housing in a depressed area. They're just trying to make it day to day. They're not at all concerned or even aware of the historical significance of the apartment that their kids are tearing through right now. They're living life because life goes on. That's what happens to life. That's it's the great tragedy and hope of our human existence. It's the tragedy of the person who means the most to you in the world dies, and the insult that the world would go on after that. It's so insulting, but yet it's also the greatest gift ever, that life goes on after you lose a leader, a beloved leader, or a beloved spouse, or your brother, George. Like you just couldn't imagine life beyond him, but yet there is life beyond him.
Yeah. It's a long way to say that you saw a bathtub and you went, wow, Lee Harvey Oswald used to bathe in that?
I want that. So, for those that don't know, I did end up buying Lee Harvey Oswald's old bathtub from one of his apartment buildings they were tearing down.
And as much as we all give you a hard time about that, if you had not done that, that bathtub would be in some landfill.
It would be in a landfill, yes. And I think, I can't remember what I paid the woman for it. It was like about to be torn out and thrown away. So I think I probably paid her $100 or $200 for the bathtub, the bathroom doors, the little drawer that his daughter used to sleep in that they used to use as a bassinet, him and Marina. All that stuff was very cheap. And her little vanity, the built-in vanity that Marina used.
And is that at your parents' house as well?
Once again.
Good Lord.
Right
How
next to a
dare
mess of guitars and typewriters.
An assassin's bathtub.
After more than 30 years, it's become pretty clear each of the Musers has a role on the show. Junior is the navigator, Gordon is the wild card, and George is its heart. We'll finish with this sweet story from episode 12, Music Does Matter, The Blue Ribbon.
I still have a passion for sports, and there's so many different offshoots from it. My own experience in competing, which did start in swimming.
We knew that.
And I actually brought in something for show and tell that we can give to Peter to send out.
He's such a former athlete that can't let go of his glory days.
Well, this was when I was 7 years old, and all my brothers and sisters, I'm the youngest of 5, they were all swimmers and really good swimmers. Really 4 of them, to some degree, swam when they were in college, but they were all in competitive swimming growing up. And I was a little behind because most of them had gone off to college and no one was around to teach me how to swim, all the different strokes, backstroke and breaststroke and butterfly and free. And my brother, who was really a good swimmer, Rick, came home one summer, and we had a swim club right behind us in Chicago, and he was going to be an assistant coach on the team. And so I wanted to be on the team. And I'd go to work out, and, I wasn't very good, and he didn't have much time to spend with me. But he taught me how to swim butterfly. With one exception, he didn't teach me how to breathe, to take a breath, to put your head up, and then, bring your hands over. So it came time for a meet, and I told him, I said, I think I'm ready to swim. He said, "You're not ready to swim." I said, "No, I think I am." And I said, "But I don't want to get disqualified by stepping on the bottom, because I don't think I can make it 25 yards, one lap of the pool without stepping on the bottom." And he said, "Well, okay, then don't swim." "But I want to swim." He said, "Okay, well, you're going to have to figure it out." So I remember standing on the side of the pool, getting ready for my race, and I'm one of 6 swimmers, 7 years old. Swimmers take your mark. And my thought was, I just won't breathe. I'll just do a no breather and just go all the way down. And the story goes that about halfway down, I had the lead because I actually had a pretty good butterfly. But then it came to, okay, I've got to take a breath. And I took the most ridiculous porpoise coming up for a desperation breath. Didn't touch the bottom.
You look like Shamu coming up out of the pool at SeaWorld.
Did. And it apparently, according to my brother, it just took forever for me to get my breath, go back in, and then I'm kind of defeated, and I got tangled up in the lane.
You're
flailing. But I finished, and I did not touch the bottom. And my brother grabs me out of the water. Yeah, we did it. You did it. You did it. And he said, well, work on the breathing thing, and this is so great. I'm so proud of you and all this stuff. And so I thought, it was the best, even though I got last place. But the head coach of that team, that night, I was waiting for my brother, and the head coach of that team said, hey, come here for a second. And he said, that was really brave what you did tonight, and this is what goes to winners. And it looks purple now. It was a blue first place ribbon, no tag on the back to say what it was.
Wow, that used to be blue?
It was, yeah, that's how old it is.
Wow.
And so after that, I took that as confirmation of I can do this. And I ran home, showed my parents and everything, but I didn't show anyone else this ribbon because I didn't win anything. I didn't do anything that was really, significant outside of what it meant to me. And the rest of the time when I was swimming in the summer, Trident Conference, Fairwind Swim Club, I dominated. I became a good swimmer for my age group, and especially in the summertime because I really liked swimming for Fairwind. But I've hung on to this ribbon. All my other first place ribbons and trophies, I threw them away, but I kept that because it really taught me a powerful lesson of you tried. You stepped out, scared to death. Those swim meets, they would have 200 people. It might as well have been 200,000 people.
They were nationally televised, weren't they?
You felt like it was. You felt like, oh my God, everybody in the world is watching right now. And finished. And
that's great that coach did that for you.
Yeah. And that's saying about, well, you don't give ribbons to everyone. Well, you know what? Maybe sometime you should, because here 50 some odd years later, I still have that and I've kept it all these times of, okay, this is going to be tough. You're going to have to work through this. And I've looked down at that ribbon.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully this will encourage you to go back and pick up episodes you've not yet heard. The guys will be back next week with something new, and you can always reach out to them via email, themuserspod@gmail.com. Happy New Year, everybody. We really do appreciate you following, subscribing, and yes, being a sweet, clean P1. The Musers, the podcast is a Tired Head production.